I used to work the night shift at a gas station just outside town. Most nights were boring. A few customers, truck drivers, people grabbing coffee. But one night around 3:20 a.m., a car pulled into the parking lot. The driver came inside and asked me a strange question. He wanted to know if I locked the doors at night. Then he left. About 20 minutes later, the same car came back. But this time, I noticed someone sitting in the back seat, perfectly still, just watching the store. And that's when the night started getting really strange. I used to work the night shift at a small gas station just outside town, the kind of place that stays open 24 hours, mostly because it's the only station for miles. During the day, it's pretty busy. People stopping for gas, coffee, snacks. But the night shift is completely different. After midnight, the place gets quiet, really quiet. Sometimes an hour or two passes without a single customer, just the hum of the refrigerators, the sound of trucks passing on the highway, and the flicker of the fluorescent lights above the counter. Most nights were boring. I'd drink too much coffee, scroll through my phone, or watch the security monitors behind the register, waiting for the next car to pull into the parking lot. That night started the same way. Nothing unusual. A couple of truck drivers stopped around midnight. Someone came in around 1 for cigarettes. After that, the station was empty again. Around 3 in the morning. Things always get strange on night shift. Not scary, just strange. That's the hour when the world feels quiet in a different way. Like everyone else is asleep, and you're the only person awake. I remember checking the clock above the register. 3:21 a.m., right when headlights appeared through the front window. A car had pulled into the station. It was an older sedan, dark color, hard to see clearly under the dim lights outside. The car parked near the pump closest to the store. But the driver didn't get out right away. The engine just sat there idling for a moment. Then the driver's door opened, and a man stepped out. He looked normal at first. Middle-aged, thin, wearing a long dark coat. Even though it wasn't that cold outside, he walked slowly toward the store, not looking around, not checking his phone, just walking straight toward the entrance. The bell above the door rang. When he came inside, that little metal chime every gas station has. He didn't say anything when he walked in, didn't look at me, just started walking through the aisles. At first, I didn't think much about it. People wander around stores all the time, especially late at night. Sometimes they're half asleep. Sometimes they're just bored. But something about the way he moved fell off. He walked slowly, stopping at different shelves, looking at items, but never touching anything, never picking anything up, just staring, like he was trying to remember something. Eventually, he walked up to the counter and stopped in front of me. For a few seconds, he just stood there, looking at me, without saying anything. Then he asked a question. "What time do you lock the doors?" His voice was quiet, almost flat. I told him we didn't. The station stays open all night, 24 hours. He stared at me for another moment, like he was thinking about that answer. Then he nodded slowly, turned around, and walked out of the store. He never bought anything, didn't even pick something up, just left. I watched him through the front window. He got back into the car, sat there for a moment, then the headlights turned on, and the car pulled out of the parking lot. At that point, I figured that was the end of it. Just another strange night shift customer. The kind you forget about 5 minutes later. Except about 20 minutes later, the same car came back. I noticed it immediately on the security monitor. The same sedan pulling into the same pump. This time the engine didn't idle. The driver stepped out right away and walked back toward the store. When he opened the door, the bell rang again. Same metallic chime. He walked straight to the counter this time. Didn't stop in the aisles. Didn't look at anything. He stood there for a moment, then asked another question. Are you here alone tonight? That question made me uncomfortable. I won't lie about that. It's not something customers normally ask, especially at 3 in the morning. But I didn't want to escalate the situation, so I just said yes. It's just me on night shift. The man smiled slightly, not a friendly smile, just a small one, like he expected that answer. Then he nodded again, turned around, and walked out of the store. I watched him through the window again, the same way I had before. He walked back to the car, opened the driver's door, and got inside. But this time, something caught my attention. As the interior light of the car turned on, I noticed something in the back seat, a shape, someone sitting there. I hadn't seen them the first time, but now I could see clearly. Someone had been in the back seat the entire time, just sitting there, perfectly still, not moving, not getting out of the car, not even turning their head. For a moment, I thought maybe it was a child or someone asleep, but the longer I looked, the more uncomfortable I felt because the person in the back seat was sitting completely upright, facing forward, not moving at all. The driver closed the door, the headlights turned on, and the car slowly pulled out of the station again. But the entire time the car drove away, the person in the back seat never moved once. For a few seconds, I kept watching the road. Even after the car disappeared from view, something about that person in the back seat didn't sit right with me, the way they were sitting, perfectly straight, not moving, not reacting. It didn't look natural. I tried to brush it off. Night shift messes with your head sometimes. You start reading too much into things. Strange people stop by at odd hours. That's just part of the job. About 30 minutes passed. The station was quiet again, just the hum of the refrigerators, and the occasional car passing on the highway. Then the headlights came back. The same sedan pulling into the station for the third time. My stomach dropped a little when I saw it. I won't lie about that. 3 visits in one night from the same car at that hour. Something about it didn't feel right. The car parked in the same spot near the pump, but this time the driver didn't get out. The engine stayed running, headlights still on. After a few seconds, the back door opened, and the person from the back seat stepped out. They moved slowly, like they were stiff, or like they hadn't stood up in a long time, under the gas station lights. I could see them more clearly now. Pale skin, thin, wearing clothes that looked slightly too big for them. They walked toward the store, slow, unsteady steps. When they opened the door, the bell above it rang, that same metal chime. They stepped inside and immediately stopped, just inside the entrance. Looking around the store, their eyes moved slowly from the shelves to the refrigerators to the security cameras near the ceiling. Then they walked toward the counter. Up close, something felt even stranger. Their expression barely changed. No real emotion, just a blank stare. For a moment, they didn't say anything. Then they asked a question. "Where's the back door?" Their voice sounded odd, flat, almost like they weren't used to speaking. I pointed toward the hallway behind the counter. The door back there leads to the storage room, and the employee exit. They stared in that direction for a moment, like they were studying the layout of the store. Then they asked another question. "Does anyone else work here?" That question made my stomach tighten, because it was almost the same question the driver had asked earlier. I shook my head. "Just me tonight." They nodded slowly, then turned around and walked back toward the entrance. For a moment, I thought they were leaving, but just before reaching the door, they stopped and looked back at me. Their expression didn't change, but something about their eyes, something about the way they were looking at me, made the entire room feel colder. Then they pushed the door open. The bell rang again, and they stepped outside. I moved toward the window, watching as they walked back toward the car. They opened the back door, got inside, and closed it. For a moment, the car just sat there, engine running, headlights shining across the parking lot. Then slowly, the car began to move, pulling out of the station, heading toward the road. But as the headlights passed across the front windows of the store, I noticed something that made my chest tighten. The driver's seat was empty. There was no one behind the wheel. The car rolled out of the station, turned onto the road, and disappeared into the darkness. For a few seconds, I just stood there staring, trying to understand what I had just seen, try to convince myself the angle of the light had tricked me. Then I heard something behind me, a quiet sound from inside the store. Footsteps, slow, moving somewhere in the aisles. And that's when I realized something. The person who had come into the store, the one from the back seat, I had never actually watched them leave.